Are you rolling?
He will roll all the candid shots and keep so that he can threaten me and blackmail me later and say I will leak this to the media.
Enappa, roll panlama.
Madhu, come, I'll get you a national award for this, but let's start. What has Mr. Mallikarjun Kharge been doing for so long? Or his son speaks so much about everything else other than his own region or his own district. One morning, 5:30 in the morning, my phone was ringing. I was thinking, who calls at 5:30? And I took the phone, Sudha Murthy. She said, Nidene varlilla ninninda ratri ella. She said, no, I have been crying the whole night. I have not been able to sleep. If you ask me what connected KGF to the people, see, cinema is a new medium for us. It's only a 100-year-old medium for us. We have been storytellers since when? For generations we have been storytellers, no?
Why are we so crazy about actors and actors entering politics? When we look at TVK Vijay, a lot of people entering politics.
He goes, none bas, none bees, and this and that and all that. The Mahabharata sequence happened in the Tamil Nadu Assembly where the DMK members, were short of disrobing her, pulled her hair, could have nearly assaulted and killed her, were constructed differently than Hindi cinema superstars. If you were to think Dilip Kumar is Hindi's superstar. What was his blockbuster? What was the biggest film he did? Mughal-e-Azam. But when you come to South India, who are our superstars? Dr. Rajkumar, MGR, N.T. Ramarao. These are our superstars, right? So they did not manage to become those superheroes that these South Indian actors became. Hence, entry into cinema and all of that. No, that was easy, and people could see them as Messiah.
If I think about Malavika Avinash's story of how she came into politics, it is natural to assume that because somebody is an actor and they achieve a certain fame and then you might want to use that capital. But I think strongly that it is because of your legal background, maybe you were more interested in politics. What is your journey?
No, growing up itself, I think I was more interested in the society at large, in the people that exist in society. Hence, I chose to study law. So, I think law came first, acting came after, as a profession. But acting, without my knowledge, I entered it when I was 9. So that's a different story. It's not as if I planned it. It just happened. But conscious plan was always law. So to that extent, I think my interest in public life came ahead of acting as a profession.
Okay.
So I never wanted to be an actor. Maybe I still don't. I don't know. I just happen to be one.
Then would you say that it's strictly an occupation that you're doing for?
That just came my way. See, I'll tell you, I look at it like this. When I was about 15, 16, right? My intent was to be among the people. Do something that will keep me among the people. And something that I can do for them and with them. Right? I will not take a higher position and say I did something for the people. No. It's more I want to be amongst them. Yet I want to stand out. So this has been there in the mind. What should be the exact profession? Maybe I had a fair idea when I was 18, and which is why I joined law. But other than that, I think I have always wanted to be with people. And both these professions, in many ways, yes, as an actor, you're not amongst them. But you're part of their psyche, You impact them on a daily basis. And so does, I thought I'd be a lawyer. My father thought I'd be a judge. But I didn't become either.
You did Mukta.
So, no, I've been judge on screen. I'm judge every day on screen.
That perhaps had a bigger impact on our psyche because even as a child, like we used to hate dramas and serials and all growing up. No child would like it. But every day I used to be tuned in. Almost on a singular basis. What did that episode of your life also, Bajku Jhatka Bandi, because a lot of people are wondering whether, because it continues to remain relevant again and again.
No, it will. It will, because I think it resonates with the common man. It will. See, I think television as a medium really boomed when the satellite television came in. Television as a medium. Until then, it was state controlled. Doordarshan produced or showed what the state thought they should show, right? Whoever was in power. However, just as the rest of the nation, opened up to the world, right, with globalization, so did television. So with satellite television coming in, I think there was a larger scope for people to think and speak their mind.
Correct.
And television and Doordarshan could not fall behind, which is why they had to start these daily soaps. Because they had to appeal to that audience and they had to engage with them at a time they weren't otherwise. No, television, I don't know about you. You are a much generation that came later. For us, television was between 8 and 10 in the night. Right? And Sunday movie and some Spider-Man or something like that on a Sunday in the evening. That was the only cartoon we saw, Spider-Man. And there's one Chinese or robot that used to come on TV. I forget the name of the show. We were very excited to watch it. So this is all we had, right, as children. But then as people who started to think, we had this newfound medium came. And I think for someone like T.N. Sitaram, who may not have necessarily shown in the mainstream commercial storytelling.
Correct.
With 5 songs, 4 fights. I am not undermining it. I am just saying T.N. Sitaram could not have succeeded in that.
Okay.
And there came a medium where he could apply his mind, speak all his lines, say everything he thought about in society, create characters that he believed are important to society or that they should, speak a certain way and take the society or make the society think. So all of this happened for him in television. He got that opportunity. And we were, all of us were just part of that. Part of that, that larger T.N. Sitaram, phenomenon that happened. I'm calling it a phenomenon because it has not got repeated thereafter.
Yeah. There's nothing that
Nobody has managed to repeat it.
Yeah.
Nobody has managed to give content that is thought-provoking. It's not just relationships. It is not just Ate Suse. It is not just mother-in-law, no, Sas Bahu. It is not Sas Bahu.
It makes you think.
But it was also Sas Bahu. You see?
Sort of, yeah.
It was. Vaishali played a character which was the quintessential mother-in-law. I was the daughter-in-law, the rebel, the woman who wanted to think otherwise, the woman who was not taken in by wealth or money or wanted to help society, all of that. So there was Atte Sose in that too. There was a husband and wife too. But it was not just that. It was not just the Atte plotting against the Sose or the Sose plotting against the Atte.
Correct.
So I think largely there was no victim aggressor kind of, black and white.
This characterization was more of a subplot, and there was a larger plot which would keep evolving.
No, I am saying there was no black and white in Mayamriga or in Mukta or in Mukta Mukta. The protagonist might seem wrong sometimes. Malavika could have
Correct.
seemed wrong to the audience. Hey, hewling madvardu anta. People may have thought, no, what is she doing? This is not how, she's arrogant or whatever. I don't know. Right? So there was no black and white. Thereafter, with the Sas Bahu coming in, it became black and white. There was a victim, there was an aggressor. Either the Sose was bad or the Atte was bad. Right? So television has changed thereafter. But this was an era where they explored. I think in other languages too. See, I went and did one Anni in Tamil, which was largely like this. Anni was also not, entirely washed in white or anything.
Okay.
She also had her flaws, her imperfections. But she stood for larger ideals. So this was, I think, between mid-90s and perhaps the early 2000s. Thereafter, Sas Bahu took over. This Graha Banga, I'll tell you an experience. Graha Banga, Girish Kasarolli called me and he said, ನಾನು Graha Banga ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ, ನೀವು ಆ್ಯಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಆಯಿತು. Graha Banga ಓದಿದ್ದೀರಾ? ನಾನು ಓದಿರಲಿಲ್ಲ. ನಾನು ಇಂಗ್ಲಿಷ್ ಸ್ಕೂಲಲ್ಲಿ ಓದ್ದವಳು, ಇಂಗ್ಲಿಷ್ ಮೀಡಿಯಮಲ್ಲಿ ಓದ್ದವಳು. ನನಗೆ ಕನ್ನಡ ಸಾಹಿತ್ಯದ ಪರಿಚಯ ಇಲ್ಲ. ನನಗೆ ಏನೇನು ಕಲ್ತು, ವಾಟ್ ಎವರ್ ಐ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಲರ್ನ್ಡ್ ಇನ್ ಕನ್ನಡ ಆರ್ ಆಫ್ ಕನ್ನಡ ಇಸ್ ಥ್ರೂ largely my association with T.N. Sitaram. Thereafter only I realized the importance of being rooted in my language, to be able to think in my language. So this was a process that was happening still at that time. So he said, have you read Bhairappa's Graham? I said, I have not read it. He said, Atte Sose Kate. You see, I mean, Girish said that of Grahbanga also. He said it's a mother-in-law, daughter-in-law. If you look at it, it is that. No, there is a Gangama who's this evil Ate, and there is this Nanjama who's this, Sose. But is Grahbanga, that Grahbanga is an epic, if you ask me. And it was so beautifully brought to celluloid by Girish Kasaroldi. And perhaps if we were to wake up Bhairappa and ask him, he would have liked that the most of all his works being translated to celluloid. Because he used to come and sit with us.
But is it the medium that, encourages the filmmaker to so basically simplify it and dumb it down to a Saas Bahu sort of a format?
No, he didn't do it as a Saas Bahu format, but it was a Saas Bahu Katha is what I'm saying. But for Girish, I feel Girish also explored this medium because he got the length of time. You see, a film has to finish in 2.5 hours, but television gives you that length of time. So for the characters to dwell, to sink. However, what is funny is when it was actually telecast, very few people watched it. About a month ago, was it? In December or so, one morning, 5:30 in the morning, my phone was ringing. I was thinking, who calls at 5:30? Kaun hai? And I took the phone, Sudha Murthy. My gosh, what crisis might she be in that she's calling me at 5:30 a.m.? So I said, Yenamaitu. She said, Nan niddene barlilla, ninninda ratri ella. I said, Yake, what did I do to you? She said, no, I have been crying the whole night. I have not been able to sleep. I was waiting for dawn to happen so I can call you and talk to you. She had binge-watched Grahbanga. And then she said, Naning sire kodu. She came home. She actually came home and gave me that sari and went. So it's very precious to me. I don't know if an award will seem as precious. Why I'm saying this is, we'll have to look at the context of Grahbanga. Grahbanga was written in the 60s by Bhairappa. And it has been published in 22 languages, I think.
Okay.
And Grahbanga is placed in the 50s, late 40s and 50s. Okay, so just look at the timeline. This was converted to celluloid in 2002, I think. In 2025, here is a lady who calls me. So I don't know whether to thank social media for it, or whether to thank Bhairappa for it, or whether to thank the language for it. So I am just saying, if it resonates, it resonates.
Yeah.
If it speaks of people's emotions, it does. It becomes universal and timeless. Why is Ramayana and Mahabharata timeless? No?
Correct.
Because it resonates with your emotions. And I was just sitting and thinking. And Sudha Murthy is now 75. Okay. So maybe she still understood what India looked like. I'm not saying she grew up in that India, but she may be able to perceive it through her parents or whatever, of how a 40s, 50s India was. But there are so many young people who come and talk about Grahbanga to me, and I keep asking them, what is it that resonates? I think it's that larger emotion. That emotion resonates. That emotion of suffering, of helplessness, of yet staying, standing your ground, fighting, the adversities that life throws at you. See, Nanjama is a character who is not necessarily educated. She's married to a Shanbhog, a village accountant. And that fellow is a lazy fellow, doesn't do any work, always sleeping. So she is a mother of 3. There's no food to eat. She has to do that accounting for the family to thrive. So she learns accounting. The very name is beautiful. No, Grahbanga means a broken home.
Right.
I mean, what better way to, express that? So why I'm saying all of this is, I think emotions, when emotions become the content of a film or a television story or whatever, they invariably resonate with the people. And like Bharata says, it is rasanubhava. No? Ultimately, it's for the audience to feel the emotion, not so much me. I may cry 50 buckets of tears, but I'll have to make you cry. That's my challenge as an actor. No?
So, 2 questions come to my mind. One, how do you see society evolving? Because say if I were to go to Z Kannada YouTube channel and click on the popular videos, all 15, 20 years ago, what serials were there, they're still popular.
Right.
And they were probably uploaded 3-4 years ago or whatever. So which means that there is a strong resonance, and it can't be just nostalgia because a lot of new people also keep
No,
coming
there
in.
is no nostalgia. How can a 20-year-old today or a 25-year-old today
Yeah.
even have any nostalgia of
Correct.
all of that? I don't think it's nostalgia. It's just how much you relate.
Hmm.
Why did we manage to relate to Avatar?
Hmm.
It's that one thread, no? There is a cosmic connect,
Hmm.
right? Amongst all of us, you, me, inanimate, animate.
Correct.
James
That's why everybody
Cameron
around the
himself
world, yeah.
says, he was inspired by our philosophy. So what is that? It is that one Chaitanya that flows amongst all of us. And that's what Avatar represented, no? I mean, today even Avatar seems a little outdated because of AI and all of that. So with changing times, emotions don't go away, no? Like that Lion King, you remember how it resonated with us.
But as
It
a
was a father-son
society,
story, no?
have we lost in touch with our emotions? Because, and I don't mean this to demean any filmmaker or any of the works that have come out recently. Beautiful action movies, like even if we were to take KGF as an example, you can find meaning in that. Say Big Boss as a show or something. Are we promoting the wrong kind of people is a question that people are asking. Artha annodu, we don't have anything left in movies or what?
No. I mean, whether the protagonist should be the antagonist or the antagonist should be the protagonist. These are all what do you say? They are outlaws, no? One were to look at the hero of KGF. He's an outlaw.
Correct.
So can he be the protagonist is the question. See, that's a larger question. That's a different question. But if you ask me what connected KGF to the people, the style is there, the action is there. But it's that mother-son thing, no? At the end of the day.
Like a lot of Rajnikant movies were back in the day.
There cannot be. Indian storytelling itself is like that. Because cinema is a new medium for us. It's only 100-year-old medium for us. We have been storytellers since when? For generations we've been storytellers, no? Just look at the way storytelling has traveled. If one were to, I won't call it the beginning, but most certainly the, recorded history of acting, of arts, of how a drama is to be presented, how is it to be written, what is the, how is the mics to be set, what mics, not as in the electronic mics, but how is sound to be treated, how is costume, all of this Bharata wrote, no? As far back as over 2000 years, right? So we've been storytellers. And storytellers, professional storytellers is what I mean. Because when I say Bharata, he was not the beginning. See, if you can go back further to storytelling. Ramayana. Tell me, Ramayana, how did it come to the world? Lava and Kusha narrated it, no?
Correct.
To Rama.
Correct.
So wasn't that storytelling?
Yeah.
These two young chaps, when Rama was conducting the Ashwamedha Yaga, they started telling the story of Rama, no? So storytelling itself, and quite dramatically, visually, started very, very long ago. So I'm not going to look at when it began. But constructed by Bharata, thereafter, how many plays in Samskrita? You had great, playwrights. And then, came, I think Bharata spoke of theatrics, right? Then you have Abhinav Gupta, who commented on Bharata 1,000 years later. Then you have, you relate it and see, there was dance, there was music, which came in our temple traditions, right? It preceded all other rituals, right? It was the dancer who invoked when the, first thing in the morning. They were the ones who led the procession, the Nadaswaram and the dancers and all of that. Music. So these were all attached to the temple tradition. Later, they became courtesans. The kings were patronizing them and all of that. So storytelling has come through generations. No? If you look at Abhinav Gupta 1,000 years ago in, say, in Kashmir, our Vishnuvardhana was building Beluru, no? Along with Shantala. Wasn't it about the same time that the Beluru temples came about? No? It was Shantala's dance that translated to sculpture. No? So look at the storytelling tradition. Thereafter, I mean, there is, there are the Desi forms, there is the, Margi forms. You have so many multiple forms. You have Kuchipudi, you have Bharatanatyam, you have Mohiniyattam, you have this Orisi, Orissa, and you go further east, you have Manipuri, you have Satriya, you have so many forms. All of this has been storytelling. Actual storytelling was also Harikathe, no?
Correct.
What we know as Harikathe. What could have been Yakshagana. What is also Kathakali. Katha, no? Kathakali.
Correct.
Katha and Kali. Kali in Malayalam means, to play. So, and then Kathak in North.
Yeah.
They were called Kathakars because they were telling stories. They were these wandering travelers who tell stories. You go back and look at Shakespeare, that was also wandering theatre, no?
Yeah.
So we've been storytellers for a very, very long time. And cinema is just one medium that came forth and we exploited. Because we were already adept at it, no?
Correct.
Who still continues to have music and dance in films? We do, no? And we are able to sell it to the people, no? Just imagine Indian films without music and dance, how boring they'll be, no? But how is it that the West gave it away? No, the musicals, the talkie came in, then the musicals came, and then the musicals disappeared, no? But we've
Whatever musicals are there are very boring as well.
True. I mean, there is one of Spielberg, a recent one on Romeo Juliet, which is a musical. They attempt, it's not that they don't. But somehow their people are not rooted so much in music and dance as we are.
It's very unnatural to them.
I won't call it unnatural. Maybe we sing for everything. Yeah. We sing to cry, we sing when we are happy. Every culture in this country, doesn't it sing when somebody is born? Doesn't it sing when they die? You've seen the Rudali of Rajasthan. She's a professional. No, a professional person who comes forth to cry only. You have Oppari in Tamil Nadu. No? Oppari itself is an art form. There's a lot of research that has gone into Oppari in Tamil Nadu, which is the same as Rudali, no? So we sing for everything. Even in Karnataka, there are those there is that folklore, there is that singing for everything. I don't know if it still happens, but my memories of going through villages has been listening to songs.
Right.
Our ಇದು ಭತ್ತನ ಅವರು ಅದನ್ನ ಹಾಕೋವಾಗ್ಲಾಗ್ಲಿ ಇದನ್ನ ಮಾಡುವಾಗ್ಲಾಗ್ಲಿ ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಹಿಯರ್ ದೆಮ್ ಸಿಂಗಿಂಗ್. There'll be one faint music. You go to, traditionally all village women used to sing. Although farming was the profession. You go to a place like, say, I've always compared it to Mysore, a place called Jaisalmer. Jaisalmer in Rajasthan. To me, Jaisalmer looked very similar to Salzburg also. Salzburg, any part of Salzburg you go, you can hear music. Either the church choir singing, or there'll be one bard singing on the road. Look at Jaisalmer, no? They're largely bards only. They're not professional singers or anything.
And it's an extension. If we go across to modern day Pakistan, Afghanistan,
there is that music, lilting music in the air. Where
it may be Islamized to a certain extent, but it's essentially the same native culture that
it's Persian. But it's okay. Whatever it may be. But there is that music that is part of our lives. Maybe Islam came and then prevented them from singing. Therefore, they stopped singing. I don't know. Right.
And co-opted to a large extent.
Yes, but our Hindu way has always had, you have a song when the child is born, you have a song when the lady is pregnant. For Simanta, there is a song. Then for weddings, there are songs. Just think of one. Look at this large Bollywood. What was that? Hum Aapke Hai Kaun was only about songs, no?
Correct.
That's far. I think that was Punjab. I don't know which part of India that was they represented. Punjab, I think. Punjab has a lot of singing. So what binds us is that.
The singing culture.
Everything. Why we are Hindus, that. This is the binding factor. Interestingly, before you go to the next subject, Grabanga has a lot of abuses. Baigula, they call it in Kannada. And crude ones. Okay? Crude ones. The mother-in-law uses the foulest of language against me. So does the husband. So, Bhairappa was to translate it or to allow translation to other languages, say Punjabi or say Gujarati. And the curious question was, you will translate the story all right, how will you translate the abuses? They had similar abuses in all languages. So what binds us is not just our songs and our music and our dance and our literature or poetry, but also this.
Yeah, correct. And that's the first thing we learn whenever we go to a different state.
No, I am saying you have to have parallels.
Yeah.
You take Rabanga and look at the abuses. You will not find parallels in English for it, is what I mean.
Yeah,
you understood?
correct.
You will find it all over India, but not outside of what this Bharata Varsha, as it may be.
Correct.
You will not find parallels outside of that. So what makes us Bharatiya is all of that. It's not just temple tradition. It's not just, rituals. No.
Correct.
All of this makes us one. Why this nation has always been one is because of that.
Why are we so crazy about actors and actors entering politics?
Please repeat your question.
No, I didn't mean it in your context, but in a general context, now you look at TVK Vijay, a lot of people entering politics. And generally, I mean, despite being so culturally rooted, if I'm allowed to take names, even T.M. Krishna, for example, like despite being what some would call cultured, like you can see that, they don't necessarily agree with everyone's point of view.
T.M. Krishna will come to later. Why actors in politics will address. That's a phenomenon that is more exclusive, might I say, to South India than it is to North India.
Correct.
Or to Hindi cinema. If I were to say Hindi cinema and southern regional films. See, our matinee idols were constructed differently than Hindi cinema superstars. Okay. If you were to think Dilip Kumar is Hindi superstar. What was his blockbuster? What was the biggest film he did? Mughal-e-Azam. Okay. I'll leave it at that. I won't go into it. But when you come to South India, who are our superstars? Dr. Rajkumar, MGR, N.T. Ramarao. These are our superstars, right? What were the characters they played?
It's all based on Mahabharata, Ramayana.
Dr. Rajkumar was Ravana in Bhukailasa. Dr. Rajkumar was Immadi Pulakeshi. He was Hiranyakashipu. He was Krishnadevaraya. He was everything that you could think of as Bharatiya, as us. So these were films. I don't know, I don't know how to, you can't do like a reverse integration, but then you'll have to, this is a phenomenon to be thought about. Look at N.T. Ramarao. To us, Krishna and Rama is N.T. Ramarao, no? I mean, we can't imagine how else Rama could have looked.
Correct.
Or Krishna could have looked.
Yeah.
He must have looked like N.T. Ramarao.
Correct.
Is what is the, is the memory, right? It's bio-memory. It's not even just, physical memory.
Yeah.
Look at M.G. Ramachandran. Look at Shivaji Ganeshan. M.G. Ramachandran was more the, the fictional hero, right? Shivaji Ganeshan. His name is Shivaji, no?
Yeah.
Because he acted in the play called...
Even the modern actors are somehow, especially like Hindi cinema, because they're pivoting towards a lot of these
No, I will tell you...
They're not able to play the characters so...
No, they
eloquently.
can't. I'm giving you... This is the basis to what has come of in the South Indian cinema versus Hindi cinema. Shivaji Ganeshan has been Kappaloti at Tamil, Babu Chidambaram. He has been... what is that? So many forms of Shiva in Thiruvilayadu. These are all larger than life, right? I cannot imagine how else Shiva could have looked. So this is the culture of cinema in South India. Hence the superstars were larger than life. Right?
Correct.
In North India, which suffered so much by Mughal invasion, how much could they have resonated with a Shah Jahan or who's that guy before him, who's the father, Prithviraj Kapoor plays the father in Mughal Azam. How much could have they resonated with those characters? They were not larger than their life. They were Islamic oppressors. So they did not manage to become those superheroes that these South Indian actors became. Hence, entry into cinema and all of that. No, that was easy, and people could see them as Messiah. And MGR, of course, I think with the Dravida movement, he sort of constructed his image like that. And eventually, when he made his own party, AIDMK, broke away from DMK and made his own party, by then, in many ways, they had sort of, his songs would be political, all of that. So it's all carefully constructed. With N.T. Ramarao, I mean, he was the anti-establishment person. See, look at politics in South India. No? What is politics all over the country? Congress was in power everywhere.
Correct.
Right? Whatever was anti-Congress or whatever was anti-establishment became that regional party name, whatever. Right? So N.T. Ramarao was that challenger to Indira Gandhi and floated his party and became chief minister. M.G. Ramachandran came with the DMK movement, which challenged the Congress only. Not today, they may all be, strange bedfellows, but they all came opposing each other. I mean, the DMK was sort of wiped out Congress from Tamil Nadu in 67, and thereafter they've not risen. No.
Correct.
Has Congress ever made it back? No, they are still piggybacking on DMK. So, or they were with the ADMK alternatively. And so why I'm saying all of this is this superstar culture has sort of, converted to politics. MGR found success, NTR found success. Thereafter, who has found success? It is, I don't know now. I mean, I were to examine Dr. Rajkumar, he never ventured, he never believed in it. He was not interested. So we respect that decision of his. But who has made it after that?
Even Chiranjeevi couldn't make it.
Chiranjeevi could not. At that time, he was a mega star. I mean, there was the craze that there was for Chiranjeevi. And then the craze that there was for Vijaykanth, Captain.
Pawan Kalyan, I think, has made it. But despite multiple...
No, he hasn't.
Yeah.
No, he hasn't. He's in coalition.
Yeah, correct.
He's
not on his own.
See, MGR, soon after starting ADMK, came to power. NTR, with the commencement of Telugu Desam, came to power. Coming to power, becoming chief minister. Nothing less than that. Jayalalitha was only chief minister. No, nothing less than that.
Correct.
She was a Rajya Sabha MP. Then, she was a campaigner, an active campaigner for MGR. But on his demise, there was a split in the ADMK. His wife and Jayalalitha did not get along. They split the party. Jayalalitha did not even get the symbol. She only got a different symbol. She fought on it and she went into assembly. And then the Mahabharata sequence happened in the Tamil Nadu assembly, where the DMK members, were short of disrobing her, pulled her hair, could have nearly assaulted and killed her. So, you can just do that analogy with what happened during Mahabharata, no? With what happened in the, it was the Kaurava assembly only, no? DMK's assembly at that time, with Karunanidhi presiding over the whole thing. So, why I'm saying this is, but she herself says that in some interview, I've seen her saying that she vowed to go back only as chief minister.
Correct.
So she went back only as chief minister. So this superstardom becoming chief minister or this superstar becoming chief minister has been a phenomenon. However, nobody has seen that success. Vijaykanth, hardly any success. Only in coalition with Jayalalitha, he got, I think, 12%. And then became leader of opposition.
Nobody who was driven. Like even Vijaykanth, I think you can argue that he was not as passionate.
No, he was. He was the Karpu MGR, He was. And actually, Vijaykanth had the genuine intent to help people.
Okay.
He was genuinely a good guy. I have not worked with him because they are the 80s stars. But they say that here was a guy who would be kind to everyone on the set, who made sure that everyone ate the same food. No hierarchy, hero gets to eat biryani and the average lightman doesn't get it. It was never like that. So Vijaykanth was genuinely a good person interested in giving back to society. Yes, he may have wanted to take advantage of his stardom. You can't find fault with him for that. But he didn't make it. No, he didn't make it. He didn't thrive. He could not thrive between this politics of DMK and ADMK. Then Rajinikanth was more like the, Huli Bantu kind of thing. He's going to come, he's going to come, he's going to come. Finally, he never came.
Yeah.
So that was, he perhaps,
Could have
not
been
now,
a big
30
force.
years ago,
Yeah. In the 90s.
may have had a landslide.
Yeah.
If you were to look back,
Correct.
not if he had come now.
Yeah. Certainly.
30 years ago, when people were less exposed to the world and, still believed that their superstars were really superheroes in real life, maybe he could have. But that's now a Vijay.
Vijay, we need a bite on them.
Vijay. Vijay is a wonderful dancer, actor, superstar. But Vijay doesn't speak. And how does one know one's intent if that person doesn't speak? He comes in a flash, reads out a few lines, or speaks a few lines that he's learned. You can make out he's learned them. He's rendering them like dialogues. You don't know if he actually knows what he's saying or is thinking what he's saying, right?
But he speaks in a little bit of English in between.
Maybe so, but I think he goes none bars, none bees, and this and that and all that. It's okay. I mean, maybe he's trying to address this Gen Z and all of that. His fan base. That's okay. But he's not forthcoming. He doesn't speak enough. An actor can be a moody person, can be a reserved person, can be an introvert. Not a politician. You need to have an opinion. No opinions.
Exactly. For me, now if you talk about Jamma or NTR or different political actors who became politicians, I know what they stand for. I have no idea what Vijay actually stands for.
Nobody has any idea. I don't know if he has too. No, because I don't know. Apparently, there was this NDTV crew that went over to his place, did an interview, came out and said, "We are not publishing it." Ha ha ha. Thank you very much. Why did you do it if you're not publishing it? That means there is some restraint, something on his side. He's holding back something. You speak your mind, no? Either you are on the government side or elsewhere. I mean, look at that Madurai, that Deepathu in Madurai, and everything that happened around it. He didn't have an opinion, no. The DMK used its brute police force to prevent an annual ritual. Okay? And the BJP spoke against it and said, these are the rights of the people who visit that temple. And after all, it was a small group of people who were going to go and light the lamp. It was BJP, and AIDMK stood with the BJP on that because we are in coalition in Tamil Nadu. There is a pre-election coalition. She had no opinion. Either you should have been on the other side or on this side. No opinion. See, these are critical issues that impact the people. That, what do you say, that in many ways, that create that public opinion, that
Trust in
thought.
people,
Yeah.
yeah.
So he's not speaking enough. So
Do you think
I hope
he'll
the
be
people
a-
speak now
But there's a
in the ballot
projection.
box.
But there is a projection that he may take up as much as 10 to 14% votes.
Of what worth? You are speaking against the DMK, correct? You are saying the DMK is this, what, evil party or something they call it in Tamil. I forget that name. Tiya Sakti. Okay, Tiya means evil, toxic. Okay, this is what MGR used to call it. This is what Jayalalitha. He is calling them that. So you're opposing the Tiya Sakti, the toxic forces, right? The Dravidian forces. All right. So what are you doing? You are opposing them. Then you are opening the front with the people who are opposing the Tiya Sakti also, no?
Correct.
How many battles can you fight? On how many fronts?
He's shooting daggers in the air. Like anything.
On how
that
many
sticks
fronts?
in.
You can't have 5 enemies and fight all of them. So what will you end up doing? You will end up eating into everybody's votes and thereby creating a situation of chaos, maybe a hung assembly, or, I mean, I'm saying if he does really well, there'll be a hung assembly, which is unlikely. I think the
Correct.
people will vote for the government of their choice, which will be ADMK. I think they've had enough of DMK in Tamil Nadu. Enough of their, one is their, what do you say, their ideology. People have had enough. and that ideology that does not resonate with today's people. This whole Dravidian and all of that, it doesn't resonate with the people, and their misgovernance, the kind of breakdown of law and order, of no development, and even their welfare politics didn't do as well as Jayalalitha's did. No? Jayalalitha
Correct.
still reached
Had an
home.
impact.
She arrived. No?
Yeah.
She may have done welfare politics, but she arrived. These were people who never made it. Look at that stadium stampede, that RCB stadium stampede. Completely avoided.
Correct.
Total mismanagement of the state.
Speaking of Rahul Gandhi, why is it that a lot of leaders from the north, Sonia Gandhi contested from Ballari, Rahul Gandhi contested from Wayanad, now Priyanka is also a member of parliament from the south. We don't have ambitious South Indian leaders who want to go up there.
We want to organize society, not ourselves. RSS never intended to build itself, which is why it has remained 100 years old and so strong. About the same time the Communist Party began, what happened? Why did they fizzle out?
I thought women were not a part of RSS. Priyanka
Of course
keeps
they are.
telling.
What has Priyanka again? No, has he even come into a shaka? There is a Durga Vahini there also. Maybe he should meet them. Durga Vahini, which is trained. Anyway, this also is a fallout of the enormous increase in the price of alcohol in Karnataka.
We are literally
The
surviving
government
because
is
of alcohol.
only surviving on excise.
Yeah.
We believe in distributing the prosperity of this nation. They believe in distributing the poverty.
Yeah.
How do I make you equal to me? I make you also poor.
Correct.